There is a persistent cultural belief that as we age, our bodies naturally require less rest. We tend to assume that waking up at 4 in the morning is simply an unavoidable part of getting older. The biological reality is completely different. To maintain cellular function and systemic health, the aging body still requires a strict, non-negotiable 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. This chart plots exact sleep duration against the risk of all-cause mortality in older adults, revealing a distinct U-shaped curve. The data shows sharp, immediate spikes in mortality on both ends of the sleep spectrum. Looking at the outer margins, the danger zones are incredibly precise. Consistently sleeping under 6.7 hours or over 9.8 hours triggers an exponential increase in the risk of early death. When nighttime physiology begins to fail, the body sends a highly visible daytime signal, excessive daytime sleepiness, or EDS. This presents as a chronic, heavy exhaustion that makes staying awake through the afternoon nearly impossible. In geriatric demographics, presenting with EDS correlates with a 50% spike in the risk of mortality over a 5-year period. Daytime exhaustion and erratic sleep schedules are not benign side effects of a long life. They are the initial, visible symptoms of a multisystemic biological collapse. To understand why this collapse happens, we have to look at the brain during non-rapid eye movement or deep sleep. Far from a passive state of rest, this is a period of high-energy mechanical action. As you enter deep sleep, a network called the glymphatic system activates. The brain physically shrinks itself, opening up the interstitial spaces between them. This physical contraction creates a vacuum, allowing cerebral fluid to rush in and actively wash through the neural tissue. This fluid wash targets and clears out toxic metabolic byproducts that build up during waking hours, specifically flushing away hazardous proteins like amyloid beta. If you suffer from frequent micro-awakenings and sleep fragmentation, this critical washing process is abruptly halted before it can finish the job. By permanently trapping these neurotoxins inside the aging neural network, fragmented sleep directly accelerates cognitive decline and diseases like Alzheimer's. The cardiovascular system faces a similar mechanical threat. Conditions like obstructive sleep apnea and drifting circadian rhythms act as silent thieves, repeatedly cutting off oxygen to the heart and lungs. Every time the airway collapses and oxygen levels drop, the brain triggers a panic response to wake you up. These constant micro-awakenings prevent the heart from achieving its necessary healthy drop in nocturnal blood pressure. The body is thrust into sympathetic overdrive, the classic fight-or-flight response. This generates massive amounts of oxidative stress and triggers widespread systemic inflammation. For patients suffering from these unmanaged disruptions, their heart is enduring the mechanical wear and tear of running a marathon while lying in bed. Faced with this chronic exhaustion, the common behavioral response is to turn to chemical solutions. Benzodiazepines and opioids are frequently prescribed to force the body into submission. The physiological reality of these medications is that they do not induce actual restorative deep sleep. Instead, they sedate the cerebral cortex, simulating a pharmacological coma. Because this artificial coma lacks the precise electrical architecture of natural deep sleep, it actively prevents the brain from executing the glymphatic fluid purge, leaving the neurotoxins permanently locked in place. These drugs also heavily suppress the central nervous system, which causes respiratory depression and worsens sleep apnea. This heavy sedation leaves elderly patients highly vulnerable to catastrophic falls and hip fractures. Chemical sedatives create a physiological trap, accelerating the exact systemic decline and mortality risks they are ostensibly prescribed to prevent. Repairing broken sleep architecture requires discarding chemical sedatives in favor of biological protocols, a scientific approach known as chrono-geroprotection. This schematic visualizes fluid dynamics based on sleeping posture. The right lateral decubitus position, sleeping on your right side, optimizes gravity to clear brain waste. Mapping external inputs onto our internal biological clock using precise morning light and strict meal timing effectively re-anchors drifting circadian rhythms. By strictly enforcing these behavioral cues, we can optimize deep metabolic pathways to mimic the resilient biology found in long-lived animals. Sleep is not a luxury, nor is its degradation an inevitable casualty of aging. It is the ultimate daily life support system, and mastering its mechanical laws provides the most powerful tool available to extend the human health span.